to give ideas to my followers about making money and being successful in life. I like your car, and all the best to you. What do you do for a living?
I am a technical consultant for a software company. I've been doing that for about 3 years, 2-3 years now. It's a good company. It's a big company. So
what's your position? Are you a manager or just an employee, a normal employee?
I'm just an employee. I'm just an employee at the moment. So.
If you were to go back like 3 years before, any changes that you would have made in your qualification, your thoughts about working for this company, mental and physical changes that you could have done?
I think I would have gone to the gym. I would have started off from gym and been more consistent. Just because a lot of it is work from home. I think so. When I started my company, I graduated around COVID. I worked for 3.5 years before I went to university, which I would say is, if you're umming and ahhing about university and studying, work, see how far you can gain your qualifications. If you got your A levels or whatever you've got, your BTECs, whatever, get your qualifications. And if you're umming and ahhing but you've still got good qualifications and you can get in on those qualifications, go and work for a little while. Because when I went to university, I had a wealth of money. I wasn't ever worried about money. Cool. So I wasn't ever really worried about money or what I'm going to do. I know I worked a little bit in uni, maybe over the summer, get a little bit extra cash, do something. It was just retail. So it was never, I wasn't ever really too worried about money. So I think, have a plan. If you've got a cushion, that's better. If you're living with your parents, I'd say if you're beginning and you're starting out, that first year of uni is really fun, living away from your parents and living away from your home. I don't know your situation, whatever situation you're in. If you can stay at home for as long as you possibly can. I live in London, so that's like a really staple thing. I saved. I've moved out now, but having that time at home with my mum, she was brilliant, and I managed to save a lot of money. I could do like a part-owned flat thing at the moment, but I'm not really too sure about that. I'm more set on financial goals, like how much can I save now, how much can I save then. I'm earning for a fair salary, so I think get a plan in place, even if it's a loose plan. Just be like, okay, what career do I want to do? Where do I want to be? If you don't know, at least push in a direction. Make sure you're working. And then in your mind, think about how long your manager's been there. Realistically, how long because even recently, I was speaking to someone and they said, even in your life, you'll probably only get 2, maybe 3 promotions. So that's a thing to take into consideration as well. So how fast are you going to progress? How fast are you going to move up? And I think for me, it's more I have financial goals, and more the more I make and the more I save, I then I look into, maybe could I go into business? Could I start a business? with family. I know my brother's he's in a good position as well. He owns property in London, so he's in a really good position. He's an employee as well. He's not not a business owner at the moment.
But he has properties.
Yeah,
but that's good.
Yeah.
So he has 2 sides, huh? Yeah. Full-time and part-time. Right?
So he doesn't really it's the property's like a flat that's already done, so he doesn't have to do much. He just says and then just waits for any does he need to go in and fix anything or do anything. He's taking care of that, but he actually lives at a family property, so it's good for him. He's in a really good position.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Yeah.
Question. I'm in 2 minds at the moment, because you've got London, the price is consistently just going up, and it's I could live here, but how is my quality of life going to be? If I moved outside London, I can get 3-bedroom house, nice and easy, half the price of where it is here. My mum's area, she lives in a 2-bed, and it's the houses around her are almost $500,000, and it's for a 2-bed no offense to anyone who lives in the council estate, but I was born and raised in the council estate. yeah, so it's not necessarily a nice area, you know. The crime's quite high there, and you're paying $500,000 for an area that has, you know, a fair height. Like you're worrying, like, you know, cars getting burgled. My car got hit the other day.
Really? You must be joking.
Yeah, it was a scuff. So I was like really fortunate, and the quality of these cars is so good.
Okay.
And the quality of these cars are so good, but yeah, I was literally parked in an area for like 10 minutes, and a car, moped came along and hit my car. There were like 20 police, 30 police just piling on the guy and arrested him and stuff. So that's something that you've got to contend with as well. Like, is this where I want to raise a family? Is this where I want to continue living? Do I feel safe here? Is this, you know, is that where you're going to invest? Is your money going to go up? But the difficulty is that if you sell a house in an area that is, and even though those prices are quite high, you then can't buy anywhere else in London. So you're forcing me back. Because if this area is like the lowest income area and they're all 400,000, everywhere's higher, how are you going to afford anywhere to live? It just doesn't make sense. You have to have savings, and like it's just a whole thought of like, and I think there's a lot of pushing in the direction of, okay, let's start a business, let's own a business. Business is the way to go. I think stocks and shares is great, but you know, no stock at the moment is like booming on doing amazingly well that, you know, you're going to be able to live off it and buy a house and home at the moment, especially after the stock crash that just happened. Like, yeah.
Which one was that?
Mr. Orange Man in America decided to launch some tariffs and go into a tariff war, and it crashed all the stocks. They're only just recovering. It's something that naturally happens, like, you know, after, you know, big things come in, like stocks tend to fluctuate. But yeah, this was a big crash, and they're only just recovering, which if you were smart, you probably would put in more money, because then they would have been worth a lot less, and then you buy more and then the value goes up. But it happened in the middle of the month, so yeah, probably wasn't great for most people. But yeah, that's what I'm at now.
As an employee in the company that you're at, do you believe that professional development is important, and to what level?
Professional development? Yes. As an employee, I know they say it, well, for me, my experience, they've always said, look, get more qualifications. My company are very big on qualifications, because my position, the more qualifications I have, the more they can, you know, put me out to customers for. But I would say whatever qualification, how big or in your mind, however big or small it is, go for it. Yeah, I think even, you know, just even thinking down the line, like, could I do a master's in something? That's a year. Is it, you know, if you're thinking about getting a degree now and you're working, I would say see if your employer will pay for your degree. Some of them will pay for your degree and you'll have to stay there for a certain amount of time, but it works like it's a degree apprenticeship. Those things are like gold dust, and I would if I could go back in time, I would have done that. I would have studied, I would have worked, and I would have had a degree. And then you're knocking out all this paying for degree, and you're not necessarily paying it. It's a tax. It's a higher tax. It's not really a debt. It's a tax. But that tax will be paying for the next 26 years. You know. But yeah, there are definitely avenues. I know it can be a bit daunting, but I think take it a step at a time. Don't think, oh, what I'm going to do, I don't know what I want to do. Just take a little breather, take a little breath. Think very small. What's the first thing I need to do? Okay, I need to secure a steady income. That's the first thing. Okay, cool. I'm getting money, got a steady income. Where do I want to go? Do I see myself as a business owner? Not right now. Is that something I could do in the future? Maybe. Yeah, it's quite, yeah. I think it can be quite daunting. When I was starting out, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I went to 2 different colleges. Doing A-levels I didn't enjoy, I didn't want to do, really boring. My brain's quite, I like it. I'm not very focused on the things that I want to do. So unless it's like something I enjoy, it's just a waste of time for me.
You have been in your company for about 3 years, right? So any slight idea of what you want to do in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you want to continue with it, or make your own company, or work with your brother? You mentioned that your brother has a business. Yeah. Why don't you just slide with your brother? Because why don't you just go with him? You know, to just have a direction for your life.
Yeah. I think because I view myself as someone who has a lot of time. You know, I'm not. If you're viewing yourself as someone that has no time, like, time has to be it's difficult because time is a factor, and also but it can't be your main factor. So I'm early 30s, so I'm thinking I'm approaching the time where I need to sort of settle down. Well, in my mind, where I need to settle down, but it may not be now, but that's sort of the era I'm in. Could I do a business? Could I start a business with my brother? Definitely. Those conversations have happened. I'd love to go to property, but I don't think property, especially London, I'm not. Property's it's a sticky situation. Especially they're bringing in now. If you own 2 homes, you have to pay the tax for that home as if you were living there. Which maybe we're getting that wrong, but that's another sticky situation. And then I'm like, maybe it's something else.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert, and to what degree of each?
Ooh. Introvert or extrovert? I'm an ambivert.
Ambivert?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna mess up the.
No, break it down for the viewers. Break it, please.
It means like you're not an extrovert, you're not an introvert. You're sort of in the middle. Like if I'm around people, I can have I'll get energy from them. But if I'm not around them, I also I need my time on my own, just to collect myself and build my energy.
Any recommendations for young employees coming into the market, in your market?
Yeah. Tech.
What recommendations you would give to them?
Tech. Do you know what? One thing that I'm very scared of is AI. So AI, a lot of people who want to go into programming, AI is said to, especially low-level jobs, AI is going to replace those. Like everyone wants to be, I want to be a coder, I want to do this, I want to do that. Learn. Don't just focus on one thing. Focus on as many languages as you can, many technologies as you can. Just absorb. Take in so much technologies. A lot of bespoke systems. Look for bespoke systems that a machine can't learn. Something that a human has to be there, because it's like this is a machine, a system that somebody's made. So it needs like a human intuition to say, okay, this. And you know what? They could probably figure out an AI that could learn that as well, to be honest. But yeah, it's very much learn as much as you can, take up as much as you can. Yeah, tech is a big industry. Find what you love. Do it in the background as well. You can turn that into a business. It's something that you enjoy doing. Tech is a big industry.
Okay, thank you for your time, and all the best in your employment and in your future endeavors. Okay?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no worries.